A window left open, a mold spore drifting in, a petri dish left on a bench over a vacation. Any one of those things not happening, and we might not have had penicillin for another generation. In September 1928, Alexander Fleming returned to his lab at St. Mary's Hospital in London after a summer holiday. He was sorting through a stack of old petri dishes, cultures of Staphylococcus bacteria he had left behind, and noticed something odd on one of them. A contaminating mold had grown. Around the mold, the bacteria were dead. A circle of clear space where the Staphylococcus should have been. Fleming didn't throw it away. He looked closer. He identified the mold as Penicillium notatum. He cultured it, tested the substance it produced against a range of bacteria, and found it killed many of the most dangerous human pathogens without apparent harm to human tissue. He named the substance penicillin, wrote a paper, and presented his findings. Almost no one paid attention. Fleming was not a chemist. He couldn't isolate penicillin in a stable, concentrated, usable form. The substance degraded quickly and the extraction process defeated him. He published his results in 1929, noted the potential, and then largely moved on. The paper sat in the literature, largely unread. A decade passed. In 1938, at Oxford University, a team led by Howard Florey and Ernst Chain picked up where Fleming had stopped. They had the chemistry skills he lacked. Over 2 years, they worked out how to purify and concentrate penicillin, how to produce enough to test, how to verify it worked in animals. In 1941, they tested it on a human patient for the first time, a policeman named Albert Alexander, who was dying from a bacterial infection after scratching his face on a rose bush. The response was dramatic. He began recovering almost immediately. Then they ran out of penicillin. They didn't have enough to finish the treatment. They even tried to extract penicillin from his urine to recycle it. It wasn't enough. Albert Alexander died. The problem was scale. Britain, in the middle of the Second World War, couldn't mobilize industrial production fast enough. Florey flew to the United States, which had the manufacturing capacity. American pharmaceutical companies threw resources at the problem. By 1944, enough penicillin existed to treat every wounded Allied soldier on D-Day. By the end of the war, it was being mass-produced. Fleming, Florey, and Chain shared the 1945 Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine. But the discovery hinged on a chain of coincidences that staggers the imagination. The window in Fleming's lab had to be open, or someone else's nearby lab had to have been cultivating the exact strain of penicillium. The August weather in London cooperated, cool enough for the mold to grow before the bacteria overwhelmed it, then warm enough for the bacteria to regrow visibly around the halo where they had died. Fleming had to leave the dishes out before his vacation rather than washing them as usual. He had to notice the one unusual dish in a stack of ordinary ones. He had to be curious enough to investigate rather than dispose of it as contamination. Medicine was transformed because a man went on holiday and didn't clean up his desk. Millions of people alive today owe their existence to a mold that drifted through an open window in London in the summer of 1928. No one planted it there. No one planned it. It just happened, and someone was paying attention.